Hello everybody, my name is Bill and this is SixRounds Studio. Today we're going to start stripping the gun stock for the Stevens favorite, as well as we're going to start sanding or polishing the metal for that same Stevens favorite. What I'm doing, because I don't want to sand below the metal, all I'm going to strip on the gun stock for now is just the area around the wrist, because the rest of this I have to do a repair back here and steam out the dents, but I want to get started polishing the metal. So I want to do an initial strip around the metal, so that I don't undersand or oversand the wood below the metal. Now, by stripping this first, or stripping the wood first, what it does is it gives me the opportunity to do a better fit or a match fit once I start taking a little bit of metal off in the polish. So I'll do the initial strip. Then I'm going to go back and strip and polish the metal, which will take some material off or lower that amount of metal, not by a lot, but by a bit. And then I'll come back and put the wood back on, and then I can make sure that my wood to metal fit is pretty good. Because I'm going to strip and polish the metal anyway, I don't mind getting a little bit of metal hit by the sandpaper. It's actually amazing for an old firearm that was built in the 1920s-ish, that the wood to metal fit is as good as it is. Manufacturing being what it was back in the day, back when things were done by manual machines or manual work using everything from files to chisels, and the state of the art was more handwork than it was sort of machine work. You don't want to play nice. Yeah, I think that one's just going to be the way it is. And you should be able to see how I've actually stripped that. There's not a lot of finish on these old Stevens firearms, not a lot of finish on old firearms in general. Alright, so I'm going to start by stripping the tops of this. I'm using 100 grit on this because the rust is fairly deep, and the pitting, though not particularly deep, the pitting is deep enough that trying to pull that off with a lighter sandpaper will be more time consuming. Now I've done several videos on polishing, everything from Auto 5s to Remington to Winchesters, and you can go back in the catalog and you can see a lot of those videos. By the time you see this video, I will be having my anniversary for the channel, and we will be into our 8th year in our 8th season. And it's been a hell of a ride. This has been fun for me. And when I started this 8 years ago, I really didn't have a plan. I was just trying to share with the world some of the things that I'd learned over the previous 40 some odd years. I told you in the video that I introduced this that this had been stored in a very damp environment. It was in a garage, and it was not a heated garage, and it went through several heat cycles, heat and cooling cycles, which is not good for metal in general. Definitely not good for old firearms. So as the rust builds up, it begins to pit. And this is no exception. And so that when I sand it or polish more metal off, that it wouldn't go below the wood itself. When I draw file, I like to use a really small file. Again, this is just my preference because I can work closer and I feel I can control the file better. Because we have the roll marking, and we want to make sure we're avoiding the roll marking. Fortunately, on this bottom one, there's no pitting up close to the roll marking, so we don't have to worry about hitting that roll marking, so I can leave that as original as it is. I've said this in other previous videos that restorations is not a game of fast, it's a game of patience, because you always want to make sure that you're not doing any harm, because as that old saying goes, it's only original once. Alright, I've pulled about as many pits out of this as I think I'm willing to go. Alright guys, I think we're going to end this video here. I'm going to do the rest of this polishing off camera, and when we come back on the Steven's Favorite next, my plan is to replace or repair the broken toe on the buttstock. So guys, for those of you that have been here for the entire 8 years, I want to thank you very much for your support. Those of you who have come on board later, thank you for joining us. As I've said, it's been a great run. We've got a lot of fun projects coming. I hope all of you stick around. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer those that I can. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you do indeed enjoy the channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, I love you. I love you for being here, and I will see you in the next video coming up. Bye, guys.